certification expired last October, but he unknowingly continued to write tickets. Police Chief Donnie Williams says the officer recently came forward and notified him and other supervisors about the error. During this time, the officer had charged speeding ticket violations, assuming his certification was still valid. Chief Williams says he immediately opened an investigation to look into the matter, including a complete audit of all radar operators. Williams says the investigation found that all other officers are radar certified and in good standing. And we're learning more about Project Indigo in Southport after a joint workshop between the Board of Aldermen and the Planning Board last night. It's a development that would bring more than 1,500 homes with retail and green space to the edge of the city. The project has been in the works since 2020. Consultants last night said it could bring the city an additional $1.4 million in annual tax revenue. The large development would also require the city to improve some resources, like getting additional police officers, firefighters, and EMS services. The Planning Board is set to further discuss the development at its meeting Thursday at 6. For more on these stories, you can head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with the Storm Track 3 forecast. Get ready for a hot one in the Cape Fear today as our highs get into the lower 90s inland of the coast, upper 80s for the coastal areas today, with the high risk for rip currents for south-facing beaches. So best not to get into the water today, and a small chance for afternoon showers and storms to fire up as we head into the second half of the day today. As for tonight, remaining warm and steamy as we fall down to the middle and the upper 70s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
Teachers and parents, the North Carolina Symphony is here to support you as you carry on the education of your children and students. Take your kids on a free virtual field trip to the Symphony with a virtual education concert and companion student book. Go on a virtual journey to learn what makes music music, with music by William Grant Still, Beethoven, Brahms, and more. Access the free video and student book with password 1932 at ncsymphony.org/virtual.
Folks, the sad truth of it is most of what we're seeing in the news cycle is just noise, and it's recycled noise at that. Nothing informative, nothing that actually helps us discern the times that we live in. That's why we started doing Heard Tell. Every morning right here on Big Talker Network, 7 a.m. with a replay at 3 p.m., we talk and discuss the issues of the day, culture, and politics with knowledgeable guests, no yelling, no caterwauling, just grown folk talk about the issues that matter. Join me, Andrew Donaldson, every weekday morning for Heard Tell.
I am State Farm Agent Rob Renz, and I want to help you get to a better place. Visit us online at ilminsurance.com. That's ilminsurance.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad, right here on the Big Talker Network. Please visit bigtalker.live, download the app for Android and iOS devices. Send an email with compliments, critiques, concerns, questions, or comments you may have. We can't improve without your help. And you can also peruse the content, schedule of content with just your fingertips, right here on the Big Talker. Welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. That's an abrupt ending. I need to fix that. I like the way it starts, but it doesn't end very well. So I'll fix that. That's something to work on in the future right now. But the future is not here. So, I'm not really sure what this Bozeman thing is about, but holy goodness, it looks like she's, looks like see, whatever party you're a part of, it should not take any special consideration to be a decent human being. And one of those would definitely include things like showing up to court when a court says, hey, we want you to show up in court. Steve Bannon is not special. Nobody is special. If a court wants to talk to you, you show up. So she might go to jail for a couple of days if you're upset about it or if anybody's all heartbroken. Oh my God, man, shut up. It's like not showing up for work. If you didn't show up for work, that's your fault. Being fired is completely on you at that point. And if you don't show up to court, it's a violation of the law, which, if you are subpoenaed by the court, that's a court order for you to go to court. Therefore, if you are not in court on the day in question, you have violated the law and a bench warrant will be issued for your arrest. So, be surprised. She has until Friday until 6. I mean, she's already violated the court order of not being in court, etc., etc. So she's already under fire for that, and that's going to be its own thing, independent of whatever happens should she disclose financial information by Friday, or whatever other information besides the finances that they want by Friday. Taking bets? Let's see if it's not an Anthony Spivey situation where the Attorney General comes in, right? I think that's the case. Rolled on up there and said, hey, where's the gun? Where are the drugs? Where's the money? Where's the evidence? And Anthony showed up with the wrong stuff and said, well, I'm not sure, man. Well, that's going to be, I bet, that's my bet. Here's my money. One of three things. She does not present, she does present, or she presents some sophomoric story of excuses. My dog ate it. My child used it to wipe their bottom with. Any number of them. Just hold on to your hats, because this one is getting started. And just all kinds of our political leaders. I mean, this must be some sort of growing pains. And how long does it last, right? So the first 100, 150, 60 years, we were fine. After that, it got a little wonky, right? Just before, during, and after Nixon. And ever since then, it's been nothing but a corrupt cesspool of lizards. Just preying lizards. They're just, destructive force. And you can't say it's one party or the other. This is all over the place. And it's not just in a party. It's in the offices, right? It's like you just go downtown and pay your speeding ticket or whatever, and somebody in there, if not there's going to be at least one, if not more, on the take. Somebody's making money on this. Believe it. So this contempt case, how did homie put it, Mr. Bennett? Julia Olson Bozeman could spend a weekend behind bars. That's 2 days. If you get popped for DUI, you're thrown in a drunk tank for about that long. So it's not like she has anything to really, she's going to spend a weekend without her bar. That's what it is. Missed a court date June 29th, held in civil contempt. The Bar Association asked the court to issue a temporary restraining order after they say their investigator found she had mismanaged clients' funds, then lied to the association about what she was doing with them. So she's already in civil contempt, held in civil contempt, and she still has to do her thingy by 6 p.m. So apparently they're using this weekend of not fun as the warning or whatever, the threat of punishment, the punitive motivator for her to produce these documents. So even though she is being held in contempt, they aren't going to do anything about it unless she doesn't, they should just throw her in jail until she brings up the papers. Right? The New Hanover County Board of Commissioners is obviously having some issues with that. It's going to be a few days before I can bring in any of the other commissioners, and I doubt that's one of the things that we will be able to discuss, because that's an internal affair, and we can just roast her on her own all we want. The for those that we elect to the New Hanover County Commission, we should take a little bit more time than just ticking a box saying, oh, look, they're a Republican. Or look, they're a Democrat. Or look, I know that name. Those seem to be the only ways, the only criterion by which we currently vote. Name recognition and designator of, political party designation. Those seem to be the only two that we go by. Or Facebook. Okay, I'll give you 3. Facebook memes, right? Because everybody thinks the gas prices are Joe Biden's fault. Exclusively. He is a very small component in that equation. So if you're trying to convince me, then I already know you're stupid, and you are no longer welcome to my house. At all. Period. I mean, that's my new criterion, right? I mean, that's my new bar. If you are so stupid as to believe some of the stupid stuff like that, or some of the others just completely over the top, stupid, silly, that when people just start talking to me, I just walk away. Which is one of the things I love, and this is getting into the driving aspect being a privilege and not a right. The privilege of driving is so important to me, if only for that one reason. When it's time to leave, I can leave. And I make it a point that no matter where I am, what I'm doing, that I'm always in a condition that if I need to leave, I can. It's not like I'm stumbling drunk and can't find my keys and, break a heel or lose a shoe on the way to the car. Yeah, ladies, don't tell me that hasn't happened to you. Huh? So it's hard, you'll be hard-pressed to find me drunk outside of my own house, if ever. That's because if I get uncomfortable, or if I don't like what's happening, or if you're just really starting to annoy me due to the level of ridiculous, I'm out of here. I just throw that stuff in the car and I'm gone. Because I have plenty to do at home that I don't need to waste my time here. At least that's the plan. Not sure why that worked, but it didn't. It broke. Nope. Just sending me an error. That's annoying. Well, it's working. As far as I know. I did my job. I think we are going to have an actual smart person guest today to help cover some of the actual stories going on here. My part of this is still just tweaking and fixing, and my apologies to Bill Moore, who will be on All Things Brunswick later tonight, for being a little less than attentive yesterday due to the number of errors and when red things appear on my computer screen. That's usually a bad sign. And it's very, very distracting because it's, mission critical. I need to put those red lights out, or, we're not on air, or what would be considered on air. So, that's what we do. We work on things like that all the time, trying to fix this. And it's not even a matter of fixing. It's a matter of, tweaking and designing and making it do what we want to do. And that's the part that's, that's the week after week. Every Saturday, Sunday, somewhere in there, I've rearranged, rebuilt, upfitted some part of the station to make it more efficient, more effective. And that's very, 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 very exciting. We'll be field testing soon, so if you need, or, if you know of anybody who wants to podcast with video, remote gas, 2-line call-in. I mean, it's an amazing little system, and it fits in the back of my little station wagon, and I pull up, and it's the rack and one case of laptops, one case of support. That's about it. If you want big cameras, it costs more, but I bring them. I got them. A lot of fun. Absolutely nothing to work with. Keith is on vacation, so I'm not getting any of those stories. When I tried to load some of the other stories, all I got were bad. So that's why I said you would probably know better than I would. Because I really don't have anything ready to go. No. Huh. Well, I'm not sure what any of this is about, and none of it makes any sense. And I still have no more news stories. Isn't that awesome? This is why everybody should go to Facebook right now. Go to the Chad Adams Facebook page. Send him an email saying, hey, why aren't you guys, why aren't you doing a morning show? Sad news. Oh, yes. Oh, man. I can't believe it's aggravating, actually. Apparently, Flaming Amy's won't be opening again. Now, I'm not sure what the 3 restaurants are. I know of the one in North Chase, which is a bowl, the Longleaf, which is a bowl, and the Burrito Barn, which is not a bowl, over on Olander. And they're saying that it's just too much with 3 restaurants. Well, why the hell did you do 3 restaurants? Go back to the one, just the bowl. If not, somebody within within reach of my voice needs to buy everything that was in the bowl and put it in a truck. Here's my idea. When I heard that they were closing, I was like, man, the bowl needs to go in a truck. That's all there is to that. Because all it is basically a salad bar and a couple of grills, right? A couple of flat iron grills. Flat iron grills can be made portable where they install to the wall, flip down so they're out of the way, right? When you flip them up, they have little metal tables that hinge on the wall so that it holds it level. So when it's time to pack up and leave, you just close up the doors, deal, and you roll in all your bins from the salad bar. Done. But I've been to some of the other bowl-type places, Mongolian grill-type joints. And the atmosphere was wrong. I mean, not that there's a right atmosphere for ethnic food, right? All they did was sort of borrow the idea of the Mongolian grill at Flaming Amy's and just made it hip. I mean, that Jetsons decor was undeniably cool. And I am very, very disappointed. I don't know what to do with all my Eat at Flaming Amy stickers now. I mean, they're everywhere. I mean, that's just... It's like finding ping pong balls at a frat house. They're everywhere. If you don't know, ask. right? Just type it in the chat there. What are you talking about on the ping pong balls? But I promise. There we go. Did not go to YouTube. Huh. Well. Not sure why. Working on it. Oh, man. Might just have to do this a second time. And just take a little news break, a little weather break, a little do what you need to do break. Yeah, let's do that. Disappointments. Disappointments abound, but we're closer than we were. Ain't heard that one in a minute, have you? Alright, with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad, is going to take a break. Just because. Don't go nowhere. See you in a minute.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. New Hanover County Board of Commissioners Chair Julia Olson Bozeman could spend a weekend behind bars if she does not produce financial documents by Friday night. This after she missed a court date in Wake County on June 29th and was held in civil contempt. According to public record, the North Carolina Bar Association asked the court to issue a temporary restraining order against Bozeman after they say their investigator found she had mismanaged clients' funds and lied to the association about what she was doing with them. The deadline for Olson Bozeman to produce those documents to a Wake County judge is Friday at 6 p.m. Speeding tickets issued over a period of 9 months in Wilmington are being dismissed. WPD says a traffic unit officer's radar certification expired last October, but he unknowingly continued to write tickets. Police Chief Donnie Williams says the officer recently came forward and notified him and other supervisors about the error. During this time, the officer had charged speeding ticket violations, assuming his certification was still valid. Chief Williams says he immediately opened an investigation to look into the matter, including a complete audit of all radar operators. Williams says the investigation found that all other officers are radar certified and in good standing. And we're learning more about Project Indigo in Southport after a joint workshop between the Board of Aldermen and the Planning Board last night. It's a development that would bring more than 1,500 homes with retail and green space to the edge of the city. The project has been in the works since 2020. Consultants last night said it could bring the city an additional $1.4 million in annual tax revenue. The large development would also require the city to improve some resources, like getting additional police officers, firefighters, and EMS services. The Planning Board is set to further discuss the development at its meeting Thursday at 6. For more on these stories, you can head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with the Storm Track 3 forecast. Get ready for a hot one in the Cape Fear today as our highs get into the lower 90s inland of the coast, upper 80s for the coastal areas today, with a high risk for rip currents for south-facing beaches. So best not to get into the water today, and a small chance for afternoon showers and storms to fire up as we head into the second half of the day today. As for tonight, remaining warm and steamy as we fall down to the middle and the upper 70s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
Hey, I'm Yael Osowski.
And I'm David Clement.
We're the host of Consumer Choice Radio, broadcasting every Saturday at 10 a.m. here on the Big Talker 106.7 FM.
Consumer Choice Radio is a weekly conversation featuring the latest news, interviews, and expert analysis that covers consumer topics from around the world.
ConsumerChoiceRadio.com.
Hey everyone, Ben Hawkins here with Cross Country Mortgage. Rates are still at historic lows, and there has never been a better time to purchase your dream home or refinance your existing. With over 300 loan products including conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, renovation, and jumbo, we are certain we have the right loan product for you and your family. Call me today to be pre-qualified to make the offer on your next dream home. 910-352-3373 or visit my website at lendwithben.com.
Hi, this is Justin Humphreys from the Humphreys Law Firm on Eastwood Road. Tune in Thursdays from 6 to 7 p.m. for Objection to the Form, covering civil litigation, real estate issues, and intellectual property. That's Objection to the Form, Thursdays 6 to 7 p.m. right here on the Big Talker 106.7 FM.
Hey, welcome back to the Asylum. Just want to say, unless you're attractive, you can't afford to be stupid. Unless you're rich, you can't afford to be stupid. Just let that sink in. If you are unattractive, if you are not gorgeous, pretty, and whatever else, you cannot afford to be stupid. Simple as that. That's one of the things I love about this gig. When I got into radio, I knew very little other than how to make sound happen well. And then all of a sudden, fast forward 2 years, and I have an associate's degree equivalent in everything from internet to networking. XDS receivers, ask me what that is. Oh, yes, that's an internet/satellite radio receiver for different radio networks. So satellite communications like we used to do in television, but it's a little different nowadays. All y'all kids done ruined stuff, man. Done made things a little crazy. I don't know what was going on there, but... Right? I mean, I've been a video guy forever and bought hardware, plugged it in. Well, now I have to work with it in a whole different level, so... I have only added to that experience. That's what I love about being, stupid in the nicest way the word stupid can mean. Because I was pretty stupid about networks when I started this. Now I'm pretty confident because I learned a lot by necessity. And that's one of the wonderful things about doing this gig. You just continued to learn and learn and learn. Everybody hated school. It's not that I hated school. I hated the kids. The kids made school just a waste, just a wasteland, like a gauntlet of hateful people, It was bad. It's not something I wanted to do on a regular basis. Right? Once or twice a week, maybe. But 5 days a week, I got to go deal with these people? Are you kidding me? I have no interest in participating in them whatsoever. But homeschooling would have been a very bizarre and uncomfortable option, so there's that. The socializing aspect of the school was certainly unsupervised in any form of the word. There was no security. I mean, there were some campuses that had, like, actual undercover cops. And what's funny is that you couldn't tell they were undercover cops. Everybody knew they were cops. Oh, yeah, there's the narcs over there. right? I mean, when you put like 16 random adults somewhere on the campus of a bunch of high school kids, and they're going to talk, they're going to be like, yeah, he's not a teacher. Yeah, that's a cop. Right? And then one day he's going to be like, and this has happened. This is how I found out that one of them, I wish I could remember his name. I ended up working with him for a long time. But anyway, he's on the campus. I'm not supposed to be on the campus. He knows that I know it. But I'm not causing problems. I'm just there to pick somebody up, take them home, and go on my merry way. I should wait for them in the parking lot, but I know the campus. I've been here before. He's munching on a candy bar. He throws away a wrapper, and I know him from somewhere else, and I say hi. He says hi as he's leaning into the trash can to throw his wrapper away. You see the holster, and I'm like, or I saw the holster, and I'm like, oh, well, there's something about you I didn't know. And it turns out that, yes, there's a little squad of undercover police officers. I mean, they are commissioned police officers. They can execute arrests, both for the juvenile court system and for the adult side of the court system, right? They're fully fledged police officers, but they're specially trained in juvenile and high school issues, et cetera, et cetera. Now, this would have been in the 80s, like 82, 3, 4, somewhere in there. Maybe even 85. And it was a very unique squad, if you will, subgroup of officers. And you know them now as resource officers, or at least that's what the term came to become. But they weren't really a resource, as they were like immediate arrest. Right? If any shenanigans happen on campus, boom. We don't have to wait for police. They are already here. Now, the campus was pretty large, so there was only like, I don't know, one or two that you could see, and they were usually in pairs, right? So they're not able to cover the entire area, but they're working on it, right? Certainly when class lets out and everybody's changing from locker to class to lockers and back and whatever else, it's absolute chaos. But yeah, he was strapped. And he's trying to look cool. He's trying to look like he just fits in, like, hello, fellow high school students. You know, it's like, no. You know who the cops is. They're not undercover. They're just plain clothes. Don't try to say undercover, because every kid there was laughing at you. Every kid there was laughing at you. Yeah, go ahead and hide the glue that rug on your head. You're in a high school. We are brutal. We are relentless, and we are a lot more savvy. Or at least then. It's gotten even worse now. So while we think we're helping these kids or whatever, and they see right through it. I think Andrew Donaldson had a pretty good take on that when the COVID thing hit the school system, and his children were, his girls were like, why? I mean, all we are is a fodder, right? In a number of cases, you could, set up a little picture of yourself or a video loop and call that a day. That's just bumming. Well, this is interesting. Let's see what we get out of this. Cape Fear Community Center's art exhibit aims to support the homeless community. No individual artist, but the Eden Village. I'm going to have to ask our friends about this. Wilmington, North Carolina, the Wilma A. Daniels Gallery, the Cape Fear Community Center Fine Arts Department, and the Wilson Center are thrilled to announce the exhibition scheduled for the fall 2022 semester spanning July 2022 to January 2023. A collective exhibition is an art fundraiser show featuring several Cape Fear Community College artists that were inspired to support the endeavors of Eden Village of Wilmington, including Bill Billingsley, Jeff Calabrese, Jennifer Mace, and Sharon Wozniak Spencer. Wozniak. That's not an L. I need more coffee. Eden Village of Wilmington is a community model that builds tiny home communities for the disabled and chronically homeless. We here at the Asylum have featured them on the program and should have them back soon. Let's see. Wozniak Spencer's own work embodies friends in need as she thoughtfully refers to anyone but especially the homeless. She was inspired to want to give back with her own art and care for those in need from her graduate work at the Academy of Art San Francisco, where she completed her Master's of Fine Arts degree. There will be a silent auction on select pieces with 100% of the proceeds going to Eden Village that will run the length of the exhibit. Artists will also donate a portion of the proceeds from their artwork sales to Eden Village. So the name of it is Eden Village, a collective exhibition. Exhibition runs July 13 through September 24, 2022. And receptions are opening, that's already been. No, July 22nd. Nice. And then the fourth Friday, August 26th. Both of those are 6 to 9 p.m. So that's cool. Helping out the Eden Village. And again, we're going to have them on again to discuss some of the technologies that are being used and some of the advantages in their process and approach. If you want to get involved, there's nothing stopping you. Oh, that's the other beautiful thing, right? Last segment was talking about being stupid in the best way. Maybe even this segment. But anyway. That's how you learn. That's it. Man. Slow morning until I can get some other stuff started, and that's here in a minute, I promise. Tonight, All Things Brunswick with Bill Moore, Dan Romand, and Greta Lehman. That should be interesting. They're just going to go off on a tangent like a good podcast should, and this should be fun. I like that. That's going to be fun. Man, this is just, ooh. Well, that's kind of handy. If you just look at the headlines, this is a little weird. So, multi-agency rescue and recovery training held in Lake Waccamaw to sharpen skills on July 17. Later on July 17, prominent Waccamaw man and 2 service dogs die in house fire. You were just there. Smoke detector in Wilmington Sam's Club. Whoops, I'm glad I wasn't there that day. I almost thought about it. Yeah, I think I need my friend for that. What is a purse sale? That's interesting. Let's try this. All right. Our friends at WWAY again. No alpha. Friends of the Pender County Library holding purse sale fundraiser Saturday. Oh, it really is purses. I thought it was like, you know how they have like a racing, horse racing purse. You know, the purse is $500,000 or whatever. That's what I thought they were. Burgaw, North Carolina, very short story. Bing, bing, bing. Story, special fundraiser being held at the Pender County Library this Saturday morning. I hope. They don't give me a date. July 15. Yeah, we missed it. Never mind. The purse sale happened. And purchased a gently used purse raising money for the library. Friends of the Pender County have been accepting donation for weeks. Had been. Didn't even know about it. Sorry, I missed that one. But now we know what a purse sale is. To where Ladies donate purses, and there you go. Wow. Some of these stories just I don't want to go with. That's just some, I mean, they're important and other people will cover it. Most of them are bad. Oh, this one came out yesterday, and this one is for any of our artist friends. Do not have a author for this. Hannah Block Historic USO Community Art Center seeks artist submissions for Art Fall. Art Fall is a juried show and sale for emerging and established artists. Pay attention, folks. The Hannah Block Historic USO Community Art Center is seeking 2D and 3D artists for the 7th Annual Art Fall Juried Art Show and Sale to be held September 16 through 24, 2022. Art Fall will be one of the events during the American Craft Walk Wilmington, a celebration of visual and performing arts at various locations in downtown Wilmington, culminating in the walk on Saturday, September 17th. The show will be open. I'm trying to get this to a friend of mine, because I think it's very, very important. I should know about this. The show will be open daily, Monday through Saturday, September 16th through the 24th from 10 to 5, and the public is invited to attend the Artists Award presentation and reception on the 15th, which is Thursday, of September from 6 to 8 in the Lobby Museum of the historic USO building. It's a beautiful building. The stage is amazing. Awards will be presented for first, second, and third place, honorable mention, and People's Choice, with cash prizes totaling $525. Only original artwork completed within the last 2 years will be considered for exhibition. Original artwork is the artist's sole creation and is not, in whole or in part, a copy of any person's work or photograph. Preference is given to artists from the Lower Cape Fear region. Art Fall will be juried by award-winning artist Madison Creech, who holds an MFA, Master of Fine Arts in Fibers, from Arizona State University, and a Bachelor of Fine Arts and a Bachelor of Science in Textile, Merchandising, and Fashion Design from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Currently, she teaches in the Art and Art History Department at the University of North Carolina-Wilmington and co-runs Fried Fruit Art Gallery in Wilmington's Cargo District. Get in, get involved. How's that? That's some good stuff. Helping out local artists, and that's sort of what we do here. That would be a fun, might as well talk about it, bring it up again, plug it, whatever the term is. The Voice in the Pen every Wednesday. That we have this and one more week, I think, right? The 20th and the 27th, yeah. Most of the time, we're at Waterline. The first Wednesday of the month, we are at Ted's, live at Ted's. I mean, they're within like 2 blocks of each other, so if we're not at one, just stumble your happy ass over to the other one. You'll be fine. Featuring original local artists, much like the Art Fall does for visual arts, we are doing live music performance art. And it's not limited to just playing a guitar. We've had banjo, we've had keyboards, we've had bass, we've had, what was that, pan drum thing where homie came out and it was like ding, 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 ding. It looks like a little UFO on acid. It was pretty cool. I just wish I had a little bit more warning about it, because he walked right off the stage and it was like, wait, where'd you go, bud? I don't see you. And it's really hard to mic that thing, right? Because it's what, about 3-4 foot in diameter, and it's spun right like on a Lazy Susan. But again, you're not limited to any one instrument. And it's not limited to any one person. We this Wednesday, I think we have a trio, a duo, and 4 solo acts. Right? Starting, see, the stream starts at 7. The simulcast begins at 8, because when Radio Was airs from 7 to 8. Then the simulcast picks up at 8, and it all runs till 10 p.m. Live streamed by yours truly, and, of course, brought to you by The Big Talker, as a sample of what our capabilities and quality is, right? So, if we can handle a live music situation as a live stream, we can handle your GOP meeting, which we do well, it's not actually their meeting. It's like a show about their meeting or whatever. So the GOP meeting, whatever they do in that meeting is for them, and some of those conversations spill over into the show. And some of those capabilities that we don't use at the Voice and the Pen can be used for your corporate events, including, remote video connections, conferences, as well as call-ins, live call-ins or dial-ups, right? So we can use a phone, we can use the pooters. We can get your message out to more people for less. And we take up a very small footprint, small amount of gear. It's pretty remarkable, actually. And I'm proud of that design. And we have more coming. We have more programs coming on the air. I believe we will be getting a show called Fit After 50 with Dan Romand, and I believe his wife will be joining. Oh, man. Yeah, none of that's good. Nothing, see, I only want to bring you the news that we can laugh at, right? And I'm sorry, penis jokes never get old, so the Cambodian pitcher plant story was definitely one of those things that made it memorable and humorous. And harmless for the most part, because, again, these are stories you're not going to get anywhere else. And all we're trying to do is just make it less aggravating, at least for me, because I don't really understand, or, I'm just not smart enough to unpack a lot of this stuff. That's why we have smart people that join us as guests who do know what they're doing, and they can knock it out and take care of it for us. Oi. Okay. No, we'll have to do that later. None of these are helping me. My friend is on vacation. One of my friends is on vacation. And I now realize how heavily I rely on him for content, because it's hard to find unusual material that qualifies for what I'm looking for. That qualifies as the news I feel is important. Or at least entertaining and humorous. I find that difficult to believe, but that's okay. What else do we have here? Oh, nothing. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even know what this means. No, not at all. Nope. Yeah. It says somebody's trying to roast me for not being very good at this. And I've already told you, no, I'm not very good at this. I explained this on November, 25th, 2021. So coming up on a year anniversary of having a morning show that I didn't ask for. It's fun. It's basically fun because I'm testing all of the new stuff that I'm learning, and if it works, it's cool. I add it and we, go on. If it doesn't work, I go to something else. Oh no. Mickey Rooney Jr., the legendary actor's son and original Mouseketeer, passed away. Oh, the Sesame Street character accused of racism. I think what it is, if you've not been in one of those costumes, you can't see that far down, right? Because the white guy's like 6 foot, and he doesn't get the high five from that gruffer looking thing. But the two kids ain't but like 3 foot, and he's looking out the mouth of this character, so he can't see them down there, right? It's like if you imagine wearing a baseball cap on your chin, right? You can only, or on your face, and you can only see that far down, right? It's blocking everything from 5 foot down. You just can't see it. Oh, look, there's a camera-friendly emu taking over TikTok. I don't know what that is about. Huh. Prince Harry's friend says he was flipping nuts for dating Meghan Markle. Yeah, well, that worked out. Boris going to be staying with you guys here before long. Usually I have better stories than this. But nothing interesting has happened along those lines in a while. See if Oxygen gives us anything. Oh, plenty. Oh, plenty. How did this happen? This one, ladies and gentlemen, back on track. Coming out of Oxygen.com, written by Gina Tran. A woman charged with trying to buy another woman's baby in Walmart self-checkout line. Rebecca Lynette Taylor is accused of offering another Walmart shopper up to $500,000 to purchase her baby. Texas woman is accused of trying to buy another woman's baby for hundreds of thousands of dollars while in line at a Walmart self-checkout. If she's at Walmart, she ain't got to $500,000. Anyway. Rebecca Lynette Taylor, 49, was arrested on January 18 and charged with the offense of the sale or purchase of a child in connection with an incident that allegedly occurred a little earlier, according to the Crockett Police Department probable cause statement obtained by the local outlet, The Messenger. Apparently, on January 13, the child of the mother in question called police advising a white woman with blonde hair approached her in the Crockett Walmart wanting to purchase her son. According to the probable cause statement, the mother claimed that Taylor allegedly approached her as she was waiting to scan items in self-checkout. She claimed that Taylor began commenting on her son's blonde hair and blue eyes before how much she could purchase him for. When the mother laughed over the question, assuming it was a joke, Taylor allegedly told her that she had $250,000 in the car and she would pay that much for him. Mother also claims that both Taylor and a female companion began calling her son by his name without having been told. The mother has claimed that Taylor followed her out of the parking lot where she proceeded to offer more money for the child. Once in the parking lot, Taylor began screaming, saying she wouldn't take $250,000. Oh, saying if she wouldn't take $250,000 for him, then she would give her $500,000 because she wanted him and she was going to take him. Surveillance footage from Walmart seems to confirm the incident. The Messenger reports Taylor said that he was the perfect fit and she had been wanting to buy a baby for a long time now. The Crockett Police Department was unable to provide a copy of the affidavit to Oxygen.com before publication. It's not clear if the other woman who was with Taylor will face any charges. While Taylor's bond was set at $50,000, which should be pocket change, right? You got 10 times that amount in a car, and she bonded out of the Houston County Jail on Jan 20. She has not been indicted, and it's unclear if she has an attorney. So, yeah, this is how stupid gets in front of people. Stupid is amazing. It's amazing how that works. All right. Ding-a-ding-a-ding. Look at that. I think everything is working here so far.
Is it?
It is.
Really?
Look at that. I got an Andrew Donaldson on the line.
Yeah.
There we go. One last little thingy. I love being like non-professional or radio because we can make more mistakes. We have greater latitude. I mean, I don't lean on it. So how are you doing this morning, sir?
I'm okay. How are you, my friend?
A little disappointed in the way things are in the world right now.
You should emotionally prepare yourself for further disappointment.
Oh, what's on the pike?
Just humanity in general and human nature is undefeated.
Are you meaning like our county commissioner, Miss Olson Bozeman?
What did she do this time?
Apparently, she is being held in contempt of court. Was found in, let's see, she missed a court date June 29th and was held in civil contempt. And apparently this morning, according to public record, the Bar Association asked the court for a restraining order.
Wait. The Bar Association wants a restraining order against her?
Yep.
Ooh,
she lied to the bar and then mismanaged somebody's money. Apparently somebody...
remind me, this comes from a case from a year or two ago, because when we were doing radio at the old place, this came up.
Yep.
And she was supposed to represent this guy. There was a huge conflict of interest. She ended up taking the money anyway, even though she never actually... Something along those lines, right? Or am
I think you're right. I'm pulling up the original story here.
This is from 2 years ago, probably.
And I think she's built a couple since then.
Yeah, this is not her first rodeo with being in trouble with the courts.
Oh, no. And I find this interesting. It's one of those situations where it's like, look, if you are court ordered to appear in court and you don't appear in court, you can't be surprised if you get arrested. So
yeah, I mean, that's just how that works.
And now they're using this punitive motivator where if she doesn't do what they ask her to do by 6 p.m. this Friday, they put her in bars for the weekend, which means no mimosas on the beach for 2 days. But she's had 2 years to do this. Let's see. Bozeman told the bar, asked the court to enter restraining order. The investigator found she had mismanaged clients' funds and lied to the association. Bozeman told the Bar Association she was retiring and dispersing the funds in a bank account to a personal injury lawyer taking over for her. But instead of doing that, the documents allege she instead dispersed more than $13,000 of the bank account's account, more than $15,000 to her own law firm with no attribution. Reached out to Bozeman several times, even going to her home. She did not come to the door and did not appear to be home. Apparently, the deadline to fit that is 6 p.m. Now, this is just in the most recent. I don't have access to the original.
Yeah, the long story short here is this is not her first rodeo with this. This has been an ongoing thing with this individual.
And these are who we elected to the New Hanover Board of, or New Hanover.
Well, why is she still having elected office? Because this has been going on for some time.
Well,
why has she not been removed? Is there no mechanism to do so? There's got to be some kind of a mechanism to remove somebody untoward from the county commission, right?
Well, there has to be desire, right? If nobody cares to do it, then it's not going to happen. It's just like if nobody cares that there's trash all over the side of the street, nobody's going to do anything about it. So as punitive as there may be, I mean, we have the ability to impeach, but without conviction, you know, the crazies are still where they are. And that's, to me, this is my question to you as far as like culture goes, is this us? I mean,
Yeah, well, this is part of the larger problem of, accountability. A lack of accountability is the cancer that's absolutely eating up our system of government. And it's eating up our culture because when you have lack of accountability, people don't trust their government.
because we're no longer electing people on their integrity. We're electing them on their bombacity, their bombastic, their exuberance, their what are some of the other?
It's not even that. Let's
the
look at it this way.
narcissism that the facade, the presentation, the show, the whole Barnum and Bailey thing, right?
But let's look at it this way. Which one of our social institutions that's run by the government is being well handled and well ran and is thought highly of by the public? It ain't public schools, because we just did the COVID mess where they pretty much explained to the children that, you don't matter because this is a giant jobs program and education is a secondary thing that might accidentally happen in the way of, running this giant jobs program. It's not the police force. We've seen the problems with law enforcement and criminal justice system right now. It's not Congress. It's not the governor. It's not the legislator. It's not the president. Which one of our government-run institutions is really tearing it up? And people are going, yes, that is really well run. Yay for the government for doing that.
Department of Motor Vehicles.
That's a damn line. You know it.
Oh, I'm running out.
I was there for 6 hours just trying to get my kid an ID card so she could apply to a program.
Okay, so that's not it.
Yeah. No, that's not it.
The VA? No.
Yeah. Don't. Why?
I'm just throwing gas on the fire, mate. Because I'm coming up
Don't do
blank.
that to me this early in the morning. No.
I'm just coming up blank. I'm not thinking of any government agency that runs with any level of efficiency bureau. Oh, maybe the Army? Because we break stuff and blow shit up.
Here's
and kill
the thing.
people.
I was talking to a radio host yesterday about this. I'm trying
real
to
radio host, by the way.
That's how. Well, no, we're real radio hosts. We just aren't compensated thusly because I really want this Crush guitar and I need somebody to kick up some money for it. But anyway,
those are sweet. I saw one yesterday.
Oh man,
sorry.
I found this. I found two that are they're the natural poplar top, almost gold, but it's regular wood grain. Ugh, sexy.
Is it the orange stains or is it completely natural?
No. This is a natural. I mean, it's glossed over. It's shiny,
right.
But it's natural.
So it's not a country gentleman.
No. This is a jet. This is the single cutaway.
Okay.
This is a single cutaway with Broadtronics in it, but it's a popular, and I mean that as the wood grain, not as popular. Like the real light blonde.
Yep.
The light blonde wood finish. It was a special run they did. I've actually found two of them for a similar price. I'll buy either one of them right now. Anywho, I take PayPal, folks. For the fire at PayPal. Send in your money because Daddy needs some presents. But in the meantime, let's.
Christmas coming soon.
We were talking about this. Military recruitment's way down. Like way down. Like they're now normally.
Well, there's no tic-tac in the military, right?
Well, now hold on. Normally, when there's economic uncertainty, military recruitment does really well. So what's going on here? Well, one is we have economic uncertainty, but we have a blazing job market. Like if you're looking for work, like they're throwing everything they got at you to get you to work. We can't get enough workers, right? So that's part of it. But when you start digging into the numbers, there's a couple numbers that are really interesting here. Hold on. Let me get my handy dandy paper here. Here we go.
I love having smart people on here.
All right. So in 1980, that was not that long ago. That was the year I was born. That was the year that you turned 52, I believe. Veterans made up 18% of the U.S. population. Veterans.
Almost 1 in 5. And that's veteran, whether it was World War II or last week.
And we talked about this on our 4th of July. We've had a tradition on our show, Heard Tell, that we talked to our buddy Ben Harris over in the UK on the 4th of July. We've done it 2 years in a row, which is kind of fun,
right.
Talk to one of our Brit friends on the 4th of July. This is something we got into with him is culturally, I talked to him right when Woody Williams passed away. the last Medal of Honor recipient, who laid in the Capitol last Thursday in the rotunda in honor, and he's going to be buried this week. Because they did the public ceremonies, and they're going to have a private service for just the family. And we were talking about, like, when I was a kid, if you saw an elderly gentleman, you just assumed they were a World War II vet. Right? Like, when you were
you
a
could
kid,
certainly tell by the way they had their hair or their shirt tucked in or whatever.
If you saw, when I was a kid, if you saw any dude that was like 60 or older, you just assumed they were a World War II vet. Like, that's how prolific they were. And now they're almost all gone. But so 18% in 1980 were vets. Last year it was 7%.
So either it's good retention or we're just not retiring them?
No, hold on a second. Do you know the percentage of Americans that are on active military duty right now?
I do not. But I'm going to guess it's around 7%.
No. Well, it is. It's 0.7%.
0.7.
Less than 2/3 of 1% are on active military duty. Less than 2% of the population is part of a military family, as in a spouse or a child member or an immediate family member is on active duty and they're, serving with them in that capacity. The military burden in our country has increasingly been carried by a smaller and smaller cohort. I give you those numbers to get to this number. Almost 80% of people that go into the military had a family member or close relationship with somebody already in the military. It's become a very small, insular group of people that serve in our all-volunteer military, and they're almost all already attached to the military in some aspects. You understand what I'm saying here?
Right.
Almost 80% of people that join the military have some connection to the military. Family, real close friend, something of that nature.
But this is a parallel. Go ahead.
But what does that tell us? When the recruitment is down, the article I pulled from was from the New York Times. The New York Times. Normally, military recruitment in military towns is really high. They went out to Fort Carson, Colorado, a really large military facility out in Colorado. Their recruitment is down 70-some%. So what's going on here? There's two things going on.
We're not at war.
No, it's not that we're at war. Hold that thought, though. I'm going to touch on that in a second. Number one is the pool of people that are available to serve has shrunk. Only 23% of 17 to 24-year-olds. Remember that cohort, because we're going to talk about it in just a second. 17 to 24-year-olds. Only 23% of 17 to 24-year-olds are qualified for military service without some kind of waiver. They're either not physically able, academically able, because you need to have a high school diploma. You can waiver a GED, but they don't like to do that. You have to either academically, physically, arrest records, whatever the case may be, without a waiver. Only 23% of the population are qualified for military service without a waiver.
Holy cow. So that means we have a...
Oh, no. We ain't to the bad part yet. Hold on a second. Only 9% of those 23% are inclined to serve.
Wow.
Let me repeat that. Only 9% of the only 23% that are eligible for military service without a waiver, only 9% of that 23%.
So like
we're
taking
into a fraction of a fraction of a fraction.
You take a pie of people of 17 to 24,
you take
1/4 of that, and you look at that slice, it's 100% now.
Yep.
And only 9 out of 100.
Yep. 1 out of 10. If you slice that one slice of pie into 10 slices, I don't know how you do that.
One of them.
Only one of those is interested in being in the military. This is unsustainable in a country that is growing. Our population is growing, but the pool of people that are serving in the military is shrinking. But there's two reasons why this is happening. Okay. Reason number one, we are burning out that group of people, because the smaller the cohort that you're pulling from, the more burden they're carrying, they're getting burned out on it. Think about this cohort of people, 17 to 24-year-olds. Okay. That means they were born.
That's your TikTok crowd. That's your YouTube influencer
Zoomer
crowd.
Yeah, they haven't settled on, Zoomers, whatever you want to call them. They have no living memory of 9/11.
They do not know the sky without the ISS.
Yeah, they have no living memory of 9/11, and I bring that up because 9/11 was the last real big patriotic surge of people joining the military for obvious reasons.
Yep.
Okay. That's my generation of service. I was actually already in. I'd been in for about a year when 9/11 happened. But man, like all of a sudden here they came running, because remember when I went in, we had just got done with the Clinton era drawdowns. So the military was really, really light. Way too light, as it turned out. And it burned us, but that's another topic for another day. Anyhow, here's where we're at. So this smaller and smaller cohort is carrying the load. This cohort, 17 to 24, the sweet spot of military recruitment, right? They have no living memory of 9/11. They have, look at how they have grown up, especially the younger end of that. They went through 2 years of COVID in schools where the school system told them they don't matter. They know the school system is run by the government. They have internet and they see all the social unrest and the dysfunction in our government and understand the government runs all that and understand the military is controlled by the civilian government. They have been through at least two economic crises. Both of them caused in at least some portion by the government. This is not a patriotic thing. Patriotism is still pretty high in polling. This is a distrust in government problem. And you're going to see it start bleeding into other things like law enforcement, like first responders, things like this, civil service, which is very important. We need good civil servants. But we're seeing it in military recruitment where this cohort, who knows more about the military than anybody else, because we already talked about 80% of them, they know people. They were military brats themselves. They've been around it. They know more about anything else. But they saw how Afghanistan ended. They saw how we were in Afghanistan for 20 years. When you're asking a young person to go and write a blank check to the United States government, up to and including their life, because that's what you're asking them to do when they sign up for the military, and they don't have a trust in the government, it's a non-starter. It's not that they don't love their country. It's not a patriotism thing. It's not a woke thing, although that's a small part of it for other people. And I know the online folks like to talk about that. That's a small subsection of what I'm talking about. This cohort, 17 to 24-year-old, does not trust our government. And frankly, not without good reason. That's the problem. And it's showing up in military recruitment, and it's going to start showing up in other parts of society. This is a massive problem. This is not good. That we have this cohort of people. It's not just that, they'll talk about the obesity stuff. Well, Americans are too fat and lazy. Okay, there's some of that, but that's not even the biggest problem of that group. You could recruit out of 23% all day long. That would get you your quotas and left over. That's not the problem. The problem is the only 9% of that 23% has any interest in serving. Like they can't even recruit them because they're just not even interested. This is where stuff like we talk about accountability, we talk about good government, we talk about things being ran correctly, people being able to trust their government. This is where it shows up. It's not just tweets, and it's not just people gassing on radio shows like we're doing. Excuse me. This is where it shows up and where it really starts hurting the country and affecting things going on around the world. If we don't have our best and brightest going in the military because they don't trust their government, we got problems, folks. Problems. Because that means pretty soon we're not going to have our best and brightest going into law enforcement. We're not going to have our best and brightest running for office. We already see that. We don't have our best and brightest doing civil service jobs. I'm not even talking about big things. I'm talking circuit clerks that help run the court systems. My aunt was a circuit clerk for years and years and years. That's an elected office. But it's vitally important because they keep all the records for basically the whole county. Marriage records, court records, all. You don't think that job matters? People don't want to run, but you had to run for that office to do that job. I'm just picking that out as an example because you have all those down ballot things people don't talk about. Surveyors. A lot of cities have elected surveyors. They have county commissions or a city council, depending on where you live. School boards. All these things matter. If you don't have people trusting government, they're not going to invest their time and effort running for those offices, or they're not going to apply for civilian job. What are you going to do? A buddy of mine that I grew up with, is a district judge back in West Virginia, right?
Okay.
And one of the problems he had was when he got assigned to his judgeship, he won it outright in the following election. But the judge before him was basically corrupt. So they had to not only get rid of the judge, they had to get rid of the entire staff. So when he took over that seat, that district, he didn't have a staff. He had to go find a staff. And it was one of those eye-opening moments where he's like, this guy's a brilliant lawyer. He's He's a really good man. He's one of those guys, like when I talked to him last time, he was I was like, you got to do this job because they can't find anybody better than you. Just as a man, forget lawyer, just good quality person, human being, right? Integrity.
Yeah.
Like you got to do this job, man, because there ain't nobody behind you. Like you're the gap. And he had to go and build a staff. Do you know what it takes for, a judge can't do his job without a good staff. You don't think those staff jobs are important? You don't think the administrative jobs in schools and in police departments are important? That's the nitty-gritty grinding gears of our government. And this kind of stuff is like a canary in the coal mine, that we've got a real problem with people not trusting their government. And they have good reason not to trust. And it all goes back to what we talk about over and over and over again. And I talk about it on my program almost every single episode. Accountability. When people do not have accountability, they do not have faith. And nobody has any faith. We read verbatim the entire show yesterday, reading the Uvalde police report from Robb Elementary School. I just read it. I had almost no commentary for the 48 minutes of our 1 hour show. I just read it straight from the thing over and over again. Well, they thought somebody else was in charge. Well, this person failed to be in charge. Well, this person didn't communicate with this person. It's a microcosm of the problems we're having in government wide. Education, government accountability. Economy, government accountability. Legislatively, Congress or state legislator, government accountability. Over and over and over again. This stuff is telling you what the people really think. This next generation coming, and it's bleak.
That is a good term for it, because it does seem we've lost a lot of the other elements of accountability just in what we're seeing in the political hearings locally, as in the Olson-Bozeman stuff, as well as what just happened in the January 6th silliness.
Let me tell you where this really hurts. I saw it in my own children, especially my two youngest kids who got put home on homeschool for COVID because we just shut down. We didn't do any back and forth. Our district, they shut it down and kept it shut down the whole duration, right? 15 months, they shut it down. That completely changed how they will forever perceive school. They will never see it as school again. They see it as a business. They absolutely 100%. My youngest kid, she straight told me, because they all talk online to each other. They're like, well, we know they can't fail us. That they can pull it up online. Remember we covered this. State of North Carolina, they made a rule where you couldn't give a kid anything under a 50. Remember that? We covered it on the old radio station. You don't think the kids knew that? She's like, why? She's like, why should I do my homework? They're going to pass us no matter what. Why should I do homework? They can't fail us. They have to pass us. Why should I do the work? Now, this is bad integrity. You got to deal with that as a parent, but she ain't wrong.
Now, is there any sort of...
They knew that. This COVID generation will forever see the school system completely different than anybody before them did, because they know through personal learned experience that they're just pawns, because that's what we told them.
You fill in the bubbles.
I don't want to get into, I get that there was a disease, and I get that there was COVID, and you were trying to, I get all that. I'm just telling you how the kids reacted to it. They're like, oh, we weren't important. What we needed was the least important part of all this. That's how they feel. And now that generation, that 17, 18, 19-year-old cohort that's going into the workplace, that they're trying to recruit to the military, that's going into the workplace, that's going into colleges, you don't think that's going to affect them politically and socially going forward and culturally? That generation, man, they got my oldest daughter lost her senior year of college. Because COVID hit right in the spring of her senior year. Like she's got 3 or 4 months to graduate, and it doubly hit her because she was doing her student teaching at the time. So it wasn't like one of these things where they could just throw them online and graduate them. They had to actually invent a program from scratch. I think they graduated them on time, but on paper, I think they finally graduated them like September or something, because they had to design something from scratch because there was no such thing.
So you learn how to do your student teaching while online. So your student teaching...
Well, you can't. There's no way to do that online, but they had to figure out a way to pass them online because they couldn't hold them up. You see the problem? The same way with my youngest daughter with the school system going, well, they can't fail us. Why should I do my homework? They saw how this generation saw how the sausage is made. And they're never going to unsee it. They saw it in their schools. They saw it in which businesses were open and weren't open. They saw it in how their parents reacted to it or whoever cares for them. They saw it in the government reaction. They saw it in the mask debates. They saw it in the vaccine debates. This generation knows more about government than any other one because they went through a grinder that very few other people, probably since the Great Depression, went through in their developmental years, being taught what their government really thinks about them. And they're never going to unsee it. They're never going to unlearn it. And I don't think us in the commentariat, in the news media, I don't think we've adjusted to that yet. And I think people are going to get really shocked when this generation starts taking the reins and they start moving into politics and elected offices and corporate power and management and all this stuff. When they start getting into their 30s, you're going to see some very, very different cultural stuff coming from this generation. You watch.
Do you think we're going to see a shift in ethics and accountability as well?
Yeah, because they were told they don't matter. How do you think that's going to affect them?
Well, if they were able to figure out or whatever that they didn't need to be doing their homework to get away with something, then it seems to me that we're still in a punitive-based system that's not going to benefit anybody. We don't have any motivation to excel, succeed at all. And so I really don't see that we're going to have a positive growth of that nature.
What's the motivation now? Go to college, go rack up a whole bunch of student loan debt for a degree that's pretty much worthless in the current job market.
Exactly. So I don't see
because that was supposed to be the incentive. But I'm telling you, this new generation of kids, they don't want to take out student loans. They see the mess with that. They see the lie now because they see the pipeline. They're like, well, they're just shoving us through so we all go to college. They see it now.
Oh yeah, and that's why.
I mean, I got my oldest kid. Look, I got the oldest daughter's already out of college and working and doing well. You know, has her first little house. In fact, the 16-year-old's up with her right now visiting. The next one's starting college this fall. Okay, going to school. The next one after that wants to be a welder.
She's probably got the most predictable career path.
Yeah, I mean, she looked right at me and she said, "I'm going to make more than both of them starting out." And she ain't wrong. Like nope. And I don't know, you know, she's going to do this 2-year career path jobs corps thing where she goes out, she gets her high school diploma and the vocational certificates at the same time because she just wants to go to work. She has zero interest in going to college. Zero. So why bang your head against it? I'm like, nope, fine, let's apply to the program. That's why I had to go to the DMV and I had to get her a state issued ID to apply to the program. I was like, you want to do this? Fine, no problem. Like, and not that I don't think she's going to have a whole career doing that, but you have a skill that you can base whatever your future career is going to be off of that going forward because now you have a skill in your pocket.
Oh, yeah. And that's been the entire saving grace in my world. That's the only thing I can even point to is that if you don't have a marketable skill set, no matter how well read you are or whatever, you need something.
Yeah, but you know what the most important skill set is in the job place? Work ethic.
I would hope that would not be, but yes, I think you're right.
But it's true because when I did hiring at my old job, I would fight with HR about this, and we started winning the battle with them because you know back then everything was still through. We had a system called Talios, which anybody that's done HR management knows exactly what I'm talking about. There's 3 or 4 different ones. We use Talios. It's the filtering system for people's applications, and it filters out. Like if you don't exactly meet the requirements, it filters them out. You don't even see them, right?
Okay.
So if they don't have a college degree, or they don't have so many hours, or they don't have certain however you set it up, that filters everybody out. So you got to get through the computer before you. Because my thing with jobs was always like, if I can get in the room, I can get the job, right?
Okay.
This thing, the whole point is to keep you out of the room. Because they want to take it all and just make it on paper. And we would fight with our HR. My manager was on board with this, by the way, and that's why we did really successful for our terminal did so well. We went worst to first in a matter of months. When we started hiring people, we would tell them over and over again, it's like, I don't care so much about I was like, give me a good person. And
right.
We had a model. We wanted people usually with a young family or some other thing because that motivates them to work. we wanted people with ties to the area because they were familiar with it and we didn't have to worry about them moving off. Like, we had a model, we had a profile that we were looking for in our people. But I told HR over and over and over and over again, I was like, I don't care what their qualifications are. Give me a good person, because if you give me a good person with a good work ethic, I can teach them the job. If they got bad work ethic and bad character, I don't care if they're qualified and know the job inside and out. They're not gonna do anything for us. You see the difference in those two things? Like, you give me a good person with a work ethic, I can teach them how to do just about anything because they'll figure it out.
Well, that's exactly why the military wants kids between the ages of 17 and 24. That's the malleable brain.
Right. Exactly right.
People like me are 57 years old, and we have what I have termed cyber brain sclerosis, where somewhere between the age of 35 and 45, the brain actually hardens over, and it becomes more difficult to take in new information like a language or a protocol or a technology.
I mean, we've been working together, 3 years or so now? Like there's certain things I don't argue with you about, because there's 0 point, because even if I got a chalkboard and spent an hour on it, I couldn't explain it to you. Like, there's just a couple things, like, I love you, I'm just telling you how to love you. Like, there's certain things, like, I don't even bother, because it's like, no, he's not going to get it. He's not going to want to do it. I'm not wasting my time on that. I just adapt to it, right? Because I just know, and because my role working with you, I'm just using this as an example for people listening. Like, I know how to work with you to get the best of what I need and get the best out of what you have to bring, and we work together.
Right.
That's how it's supposed to work. But people have this fantasy la land, putting my management back. They got this la land where, like, oh, they're qualified on paper, so this should work. It's like, no, qualification doesn't tell me jack crap about their work ethic, their character, and their personality. And when I'm managing people day to day, I'm managing personalities. I'm not managing their college degree or whatever their qualifications are. I'm managing their personalities. Can I get them to fit in with the team? Can I get them to listen to what I need them to do for the good of the company?
Is the team going to be important enough? Right. They have to understand the aspect of the process so that they can appreciate their part in it.
And this is why I was talking to a friend a while back, and I was giving them a little bit of parenting advice because they have a young child. And I was like, listen, until they're about 10 or 12 years old, about 5th, 6th grade, you start worrying about academics. Before that, I don't care what their school academic, work on personality and character. That's all you need to worry about with your kids until they're in about the 4th, 5th, 6th grade. Then you start working, because if you work on their character and personality, they'll figure everything else out.
Yep.
If you have a really well academic kid that has no character and no personality, they're going to be a train wreck. I'm telling you from some
I can attest to that.
I'm telling you from bad parenting experience that I've personally done and screwed up on. When your kids from about 2 and 3 to about 9 or 10 just work on character and personality development, make them a functional human being, because they'll figure everything else out if you can get that right. Anyway, enough of that's all ranting. I'm sorry. That went way afield, but that was good radio.
It was. And that's it lends itself back to one of the common elements we discuss here at this station a lot anyway, which is education, where education isn't necessarily a school building with somebody whipping and yelling and clicking a clock, right? Because everybody's got to follow the 45-minute or 50-minute rule or whatever the case is for that, and start getting into education as in how not to be an a-hole. That's just as important in education as calculus, if not more so. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But that's, I want the guy that he may not be the brightest at putting, 2 and 2 together in my world, but if he shows up before I do, then I know he has the interest. And as was, I cannot remember the person it's quoted to now, but you cannot make a person care, but you cannot deny a person who wants to know. It's along those lines. If a person doesn't care, you can't. That's right. Yeah, is that right?
Yeah, if they don't care, I mean, I simmer that down to, how much give a damn do you have? Because that's an intangible that I need to know about if I'm working with you. Or we've talked about this before. We're not normal media guys. You and me, we're grinders, because we grind. We work hard. We work nonstop. We're tunnel focused. And sometimes it's hard for people like us to work with other people who are not grinders. It just is.
Yep.
Because personality wise, it's like you can't even communicate with them because they don't understand. I've had this I had this happen in the corporate world because there's certain people at the corporate level, they did not understand what I was doing, and they didn't understand what I was doing, and they didn't understand. It was almost like I was speaking a foreign language to them because they're office dwellers and I'm a grinder. And they're like, well, you don't do that. They're like, why are you out on a forklift loading trucks still? I'm like,
because it needs to happen.
Well, number one, it needs to happen. And number two is I will go crazy if you make me sit in front of that computer all day. I need to go do some manual labor to clear my own head. Plus, it shows my guys that I'm, as a leader, it showed my guys I was invested and they knew I knew what I was doing and they listened to me more. Mostly it was just so I could get away from the freaking phone for an hour because I was going to lose my mind.
Okay, now let's put this between the X, the Ys, and the Zoomers, right? Because I'm not even sure what these generations are. We have millennials, X, Y, Zoom, whatever. Yeah. That development of lead by example rather than by oversight or elevation, right?
Right.
Is that going to be culturally significant? Because everybody wants to be a YouTube influencer that all it takes is a cell phone and a YouTube account. There's no longer, video productions used to take 5-6 people, and when you had the right 5 or 6 people, you could move mountains. But without that camaraderie, that teamwork, that sense of common goal, you're just not going to... I find that it would be difficult to instill that in the younger and younger generations.
I think so. I 100. The reason I have guests on my show, the reason I like working with you, frankly, I'm always better when I got somebody to bounce off of.
Right.
Like I just am. Like I'm not a great monologuer. I'm not. I do it, but because you just kind of have to. But I'd rather work with people. And everybody's a little different. It just depends. But that's one thing.
The environment that work occurs, we're no longer as crew-oriented, right? Like one of the things about the military and the 20% of the greatest generation ever is that from day one, you are partnered with somebody somewhere along the way that you are never by yourself, and you are always responsible for yourself and your buddy or whatever, right?
Right.
And at some point, within hours...
I've told you the thing when I first got sick and I couldn't work anymore and I lost my career. And then I lost my job because they cut 300 some positions and called me on the way to the hospital having surgery that I'd lost my job. That was a great time to find that out. I've told you this before. The thing I missed the most from working was having my crew of people that I took care of, the leadership of it, the mentoring. That's why I do the Young Voices stuff that fills that hole. I really missed working with people. I really, really did. That's what I miss about the military. You have your crew, you have your group of folks that you work with, that you're responsible. That's the stuff you really miss when you're working from home or working alone like I do. And I've compensated because I work with you, I work with the Young Voices folks, I work with the Ordinary Times folks. So I kind of have that, but it's still not the same as coming into work and you've got those 20, 30 people in front of you every day and you're just invested in them because it's so rewarding to work like that. It really is. And you don't get it this way. We get it in other ways, when you do good, when you tell me about, hey, I've got this gig and it's going to work out good. And you give me all these tech specs on your new rig that I don't understand every maybe fourth word, what in the world you're talking about. But I get excited about that because I feel like I'm helping, in a small way. That kind of stuff. That's the stuff you miss working. But anyway, this has gone long and I got to get off here. But that's a good 30 minutes of radio right there. There you go.
Yep. Actually, it's been
Hey,
about
before I let you go, this is going to be really bad radio, but I don't care. Check your phone real quick. I'll show you what I was talking about.
So these jets are pretty. I hadn't seen one. I'm used
the
to
only
it in
the only difference
the
there is the blonde one. They've taken the pick guard off, which I was going to take the pick guard off the black one anyway. But that's my debate right now between those two right there.
And that to me is an indicator.
Now this is the older style. The new style has the V tailpiece, which I don't really like, but a lot of people like it because it's the old school,
the retro flavor.
Yeah, it's the V tailpiece. I don't like that. I prefer the two pneumatic hards. Now the only thing here is I'd have to put roller bridges on them, but because the one thing about Gretches is they're kind of notorious for not staying in tune, which is a little unfair. The new ones do. but I'd still put a roller bridge on there instead of the notch bridge. But that's personal preference. But what do you think?
Those
Blonde
are
or
pretty.
black?
Man,
I don't think I described that good. That's why I said you see why I said a poplar kind of look on that finish. I didn't know how to describe that then.
I haven't had a
That's a
painted
tough
guitar.
one, huh?
It is. I haven't had a painted guitar in a while, other than the ones that are actually like painted.
I usually
painted.
don't like shiny guitars, but I like that one. That looks good to me.
Because
Especially
wood is
those broadtronic. They makes those broadtronic pickups just. They're just like, here I am against that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I would probably go with the blonde.
I mean, they're basically the same price. Get within under $100 difference there.
And I'm guessing the blonde's a little bit more expensive due to the finish.
It's actually less expensive.
Yeah, I think that's
for whatever reason the black ones are more expensive.
Well, probably
it's like black cars are always more expensive. Black guitars are always more expensive.
Well, painted in this case, they're going to have to do like 5 undercoats to make sure you don't see the grain at all, because that thing is a mirror.
But the back is. I didn't show you the back, did I? The back is all rosewood, like that real dark mahogany rosewood look.
Unfinished just stained on the back of the black one.
Hold on, let me get you a picture.
Because the binding sort of gives away that it's a capped guitar.
Right. Hold on, The radio people are losing their mind. What are these videos talking about?
What I should do is just put these in the.
Again, my PayPal is fourforthefire at at paypal@gmail.com. Feel free to send me the money for either one of these. Anybody wants to buy me a present.
All right, so
hold on, let me find. Daggone it, where'd it go? I've got my Reverb card has $14,000 worth of stuff in it.
That's awesome.
Well, a lot of it's because the way Reverb works is you put stuff in your cart and then people send you like, hey, I'll knock this much off it. I see you like this, and you get offers on stuff. So that's why you do that.
So that's one of the guitars that's going up. You can't see it because I had to change things. So next week.
Back if I can get a. There you go. I'm going to send you a picture of the back of the blonde one.
So these are the 2 guitars that he's talking about, whichever one he's trying to decide upon.
Hold on. Daggone it, take the picture. There you go. That's what the back looks like. That's not a great picture because it's shiny, but you get the idea.
On its way. Come on, computer.
Oh, here's I found a better picture.
All right.
I found a better picture. There you go. Thank you, Guitar Center, for having better modulation on the phone.
It sounds weird to you?
There you go. All right, try that. No, I had to lean over to the.
Oh.
I got multiple screens on my computer now, so I had to lean over to the other screen to grab it because I run my audio interface. Nobody cares about this. I run my audio interface through my laptop, which is to the left of the 2 screens of my main desktop computer. So when I have to go to the other one, though, I got to lean to the right about 2 feet to get a hold of the mouse to get to the far screen. So I didn't pull the mouse over like I usually do when I'm doing the show.
Oh yeah, right, I've had to do left-handed mousing, and it is very awkward.
Well, I finally figured out that you got to get 2 different shaped mouses, so I can just tell by feel which mouse I have.
Oh yeah, that'll last for a week.
Yeah, so I got the 2 different size mouses now that are very like as soon as I put my hand on it, I know which one's which.
And congratulations on using the correct Funkin' Wagnall's American Dictionary, whatever appropriate. The computer term plural is mouses. The animal plural is mice.
Why isn't mice-eye?
I'm not sure.
Wouldn't that be one of the ones you put an eye on? Anyway, there's the picture. See what you think.
So that's the same back on both machines.
The black one, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, because that looks like a bit like.
It's pretty standard for a mid-range.
Walnut mahogany, or what is this one? Rosewood.
sure. Hold on.
Or maple.
Might be maple. It's pretty though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's. I don't mind that rubbing up against me.
But I would have a hard time deciding between the two. But I think
Mahogany.
I would
rosewood, fretboard, mahogany back,
Yeah,
and then
mahogany.
the top, and then the next mahogany as well.
I would probably go with the blonde.
How much do you think that guitar costs?
12.
Seriously?
8 to 12.
You sitting down?
How much they want?
$349.
300?
$349 for a Gretsch.
Because I saw a couple of they weren't
that's about a
gentlemen's, but
brand new. Those are $800 or $900 brand new. This one's the one model year back. These are the 54. These aren't the 5220s, which are the new ones. This is the one
these
model
are
year
used?
back. And these are used.
Okay.
This one's a shop. This one's actually a shop guitar. It's never been out of the shop. It's just been handled.
Yeah, that's why I was saying it's going to be in the 8 to 12 range. New.
Yeah, brand new. These are 7 to 9, depending on how you rig them out. So
okay. Yeah, I'm not too far off. You scared me. Yeah.
$350 for that.
So
with no notches, no dings, no nothing.
You still have 2 children at home, right?
Oh yeah.
So at Walmart, there was a lady offering $500,000 for somebody's child that you can get a couple of dozen. Work out a little trade.
Hey, if you got one, you got none, right?
Well, right, and if you don't necessarily have to sell the child, I'm sure you could work out like a lease agreement.
So anybody wants to send me $350, I'll get it right out to my Guitar Center guy who gets his little commission cut for it, and we'll get that hooked up. So anyway, sorry about that. I was just having a little. I'm like, that price, that color, that's a full-grown Gretsch. That's a Korean-made one too. It's not the China one.
So for all the people that are on the Facebook stream and wondering what the hell we're talking about, you can see the pictures.
Yeah, we're talking guitars because it's bleak out there and we need to encourage each other a little bit. So
yeah, and just go over to Facebook and you will see those pretty little guitars, and
hey,
you can gift them.
I'm telling you, for a guy that's going to be a rhythm player, because I can't do lead runs anymore. You run that through something with some greenbacks, that's going to have a little chug to it. That's going to have a little body to the sound, isn't it?
So one of the journeyman guitar players that I work with has modified his rig. The last time I worked with him, he had an actual tube-driven half stack. This time he showed up with an amp, solid state. It was maybe 8 inches by 8 inches by 4 inches.
Yeah, the new lunchbox ones, they're freaking awesome.
And it had, 20 knobs across the front that you needed tweezers to turn because there was no space between them.
Yeah, it was probably 15 watts or something, and it was louder than the old one.
It barked really well, but when he asked me my opinion of it, the only word I could come up with was adorable. It was almost like the stage.
These new lunchbox heads, man. You can get a 15 or 20 watt lunchbox head, run it through a 4x12, and it's just as loud as a $3,000 6505. Like it's you got to not be a snob with this stuff. Like I know everybody wants the old Marshall half stack, but you can get a 2x12 nowadays with one of these lunchbox amps, and it's just as freaking loud, and it sounds better because, and you know this because you've played long enough. You're actually better, the more you can play at max volume, the better the sound is. You're actually better off having a smaller rig and playing it full throated, and the sound's better quality. And the technology's so good now.
Well, the issue there comes into the solid state versus tube. I like the
now
noise.
If you got now, but the new tubes are they're not really tubes anymore because they're hybrids because they got the cross units in them, so you've got the what do they call it, the actuation on them. So like you can get an H&K, and it'll have a knob on the back. It's like, all right, you want 50 watts, 15 or 5.
Right.
You turn it down to 5 and you crank it all the way up, and you're good. And you're good on your saturation.
Mine is a custom amp. I have 4 output tubes, 4 KT88s, and I can cut it down to half power just by turning off 2 of the tubes.
Right.
And everything about that, including the power rectification, is tube based, and there's a lot of breathing that goes on in this amp. So as far as like being a journeyman guy that's going to be going through a bazillion patches on his guitar pedal board to match the song he's doing. So he's doing Freak Out in this, and then he's doing La Chic in that, and then he's doing Play That Funky Music, and then he's playing I Will Survive, right?
See, that's why he went to the solid
guitar,
state,
right,
because you don't have to wait. You just, yeah.
There is no sound to the amp. The amp is just a power amp for whatever pedal preset. In my case, when I'm going into the studio in a couple of weeks, I want that rig to respond to me in a unique manner. To blow your mind, I won't be using a single pedal in the studio. It'll be my guitar and my amp, and that's it.
I am of the school of simplicity. The only pedal I'll probably ever have, I'll probably have, the MXR GTOD. That'll be it. One overdrive for on and off, and that's it. I don't want a full pedal board. I don't want all the simplicity.
Right, like one of these. And some people have like the Line 6 where every sound you would ever want is in there. Some of them were programmed by the artists themselves. So if you're going to recreate Billy Idol song, the guitar track.
My little Boss 50 watt, you just plug it into your laptop. You go in and if you want to sound like Eddie Van Halen, you just search Eddie Van Halen in the tone library, hit a button, then you just push channel 2 on the top of it, and it automatically does it for you.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you got to do. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's close enough. Unless you were recording with it, nobody would know the difference.
Right.
It's just the technology's amazing.
And this is just making access to musical joy, I guess, is the best term for it, accessible to more people.
If anybody wants to spread the joy, send us money so we can have bigger budgets on our music buying prowess as we continue to learn to play guitar. My kid's smoking me right now. I got to get some more guitar practice in. So, all right, buddy, I'm way over time. I got to get going. We'll talk soon, my friend.
With that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are going to take a bit of a break because we haven't done so in quite a while.
Yep. So, see you, buddy.
See you in a bit, dude. We will see you then. Ladies and gentlemen, see, he did that really quick. Okay, boom there. And then I set this one up. And then I can say, hey, ladies and gentlemen, please don't go nowhere. The Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad, will be right back after these messages here on the Big Talker Network.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. New Hanover County Board of Commissioners Chair Julia Olson Bozeman could spend a weekend behind bars if she does not produce financial documents by Friday night. This after she missed a court date in Wake County on June 29th and was held in civil contempt. According to public record, the North Carolina Bar Association asked the court to issue a temporary restraining order against Bozeman after they say their investigator found she had mismanaged clients' funds and lied to the association about what she was doing with them. The deadline for Olson Bozeman to produce those documents to a Wake County judge is Friday at 6 p.m. Speeding tickets issued over a period of 9 months in Wilmington are being dismissed. WPD says a traffic unit officer's radar certification expired last October, but he unknowingly continued to write tickets. Police Chief Donnie Williams says the officer recently came forward and notified him and other supervisors about the error. During this time, the officer had charged speeding ticket violations, assuming his certification was still valid. Chief Williams says he immediately opened an investigation to look into the matter, including a complete audit of all radar operators. Williams says the investigation found that all other officers are radar certified and in good standing. And we're learning more about Project Indigo in Southport after a joint workshop between the Board of Aldermen and the Planning Board last night. It's a development that would bring more than 1,500 homes with retail and green space to the edge of the city. The project has been in the works since 2020. Consultants last night said it could bring the city an additional $1.4 million in annual tax revenue. The large development would also require the city to improve some resources, like getting additional police officers, firefighters, and EMS services. The Planning Board is set to further discuss the development at its meeting Thursday at 6. For more on these stories, you can head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with the Storm Track 3 forecast. Get ready for a hot one in the Cape here today as our highs get into the lower 90s inland of the coast, upper 80s for the coastal areas today, with the high risk for rip currents for south-facing beaches. So best not to get into the water today, and a small chance for afternoon showers and storms to fire up as we head into the second half of the day today. As for tonight, remaining warm and steamy as we fall down to the middle and the upper 70s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, located at 8210 River Road, Southport, is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, with the Tackle Box open Monday through Saturday, 7 to 6. Marine Service Pro is a full Suzuki and Tohatsu dealership. They deal in pre-owned boats, full service and repair, with certified technicians in all engines, and fiberglass specialists. The Tackle Box offers fresh local seafood, live bait, a tackle shop, and fish packing and shipping. They also offer a full-service U-Haul dealership. Spend time with Leon or Jenny for one-stop shopping at Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, 8210 River Road, Southport.
I am State Farm Agent Rob Renz, and I want to help you get to a better place. Visit us online at ilminsurance.com. That's ilminsurance.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
There we go. Welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad, right here on the Big Talker Network. Please visit the Big Talker website, bigtalker.live, peruse our schedule of content, download the app for Android and iOS devices, and send us an email with any comments, questions, compliments, critiques, or concerns you may have. We cannot improve without your help. And with that in mind, we're going to finish out the last few minutes talking about other stuff. I thought I just heard some dinging, but that wasn't my phone. Thank goodness. But that's why we're here. Welcome back, like I said, to the Asylum. The world has gone completely mad. Apparently, Ms. Olsen-Bozeman needs to come up with an explanation for where the money went. Where the money went. Where's the money? Yeah, here's a lawyer that got into being a lawyer to do illegal stuff. I mean, how long is that going to fly? We have elected people who were corrupt into positions where they can do more corruption. How is this good for us? What do we got to do differently? How do we change this? It's obviously through our vote. But if our voting is by people that are just as uneducated, then we come back to, guess what we need to do? We need to address the educational needs of our society at a more profound level. We need to be effective. How's that? Good luck, huh? I don't know. That's at least the appointment, the trial. Right? Just want to make sure that when going in to vote, we aren't voting on the three primary criterion that have been discovered so far, one of which is the designator R, D, or I after the name. Another axis by which we vote is name recognition. Have I heard this name on TV before? And the third criterion is, what does Facebook tell me? And that, my friends, is scary as hell. I admit to voting ignorantly, but never from that. Facebook usually is like, okay, somebody is being a Karen. That's all there is to that. So don't come at me with that. I don't need it. That's all there is to that. So again, tonight, All Things Brunswick be live from Bolivia or Supply or wherever that. I mean, it's beautiful country out there. It's where God goes on vacation because he knows there won't be no tourists. And then tomorrow night, Voice in the Pen, 6 acts, a trio, a duo, and 4 solo acts. No real mods to production. Trying to allow the crowd as much room and even spacing as they can to the front of the stage, right, to the areas. And I'm trying to be less intrusive from the production point of view. The room's a little awkward, but we're figuring it out. And let's see, Wednesday on the show, The Asylum, we will have Dr. Larry Cahoon of the Cape Fear River Watch, and we will also have Dan Romand from Full Circle Fitness, who is also on the All Things Brunswick program. And we're going to be discussing hair conditioners and shampoos. Which one is right for you? I mean, just because it says it can degrease your engine and wash your hair doesn't mean it's going to be the best option for your coif. Now, also, if you think about it, if you're going to be healthy as you age, the largest organ on your body is your skin. So if you're going to be slathering a bunch of bug spray and other toxins, keep in mind that you are rubbing it right into your skin, which is the largest organ of your body. There is absorption of some sort, and I'm sure we will get greater information, better information, more clear information with Dr. Cahoon on Wednesday, and probably Dan as well. He's probably got something to say about that as well. Probably sure that's what's happening. I could be wrong. Seldom am I. I'm usually right all the way around. And that's the way it works. Just boom. Done. That was nice. 5-minute turnaround. Nice. Nice. All right. Maybe there is going to be a switcheroo. That'd be cool. The sooner the better. I'm trying to do some updates here. I want this system to be even more amazing so that anytime, anywhere, if your company would like to have a live show produced from your location, all you got to do is give us a call, and we will be there to do your thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for another morning of the Asylum. All one of you. 2 of you. Sorry, 2. And with that in mind, we will see you tomorrow right here on the Big Talker Network. See you then. You're tuned in to the Big Talker Network, Wilmington, North Carolina's premier internet station for news and talk radio programming. Find us online at bigtalker.live.
Quand il me prend dans ses bras, qu'il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose.
MusicRewind.com is serving cafe culture, 100 songs to enjoy with your coffee. A perfect blend of music from across the globe.
Dios, mi vida.